Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the 11th house, which is deemed as the house of great gains. And what is the 11th house really about? It's about groups, friends, organizations, our social societies, our social connections, and of course that boils down to our friends. And it can also deal with very influential people depending on the planets that you have in the 11th house. And remember, if you don't have any planets in a house, you're always going to look to the planet that rules that house. That will give you the indications of how the essence of this house will unfold for you. So if you have the 11th house strong, where you have powerful planets, things will prosper. So the 11th house is also about your oldest sibling. If you have an older sibling, this will be revealed on your relationship and how they are. And sometimes it can tell you if you're the oldest one, depending on planets there. So the 11th house deals with great gains, when money comes in big sums, such as if you have a job such as you're selling real estate and you don't have a sale for 3 months and all of a sudden you make a ton of money from one big sale. That would be relative to the 11th house. 11th house is large sums of money, and it's not necessarily money that comes from paycheck to paycheck, but it is money that you have made through promotions with your career. Why? Because it's the second house from the 10th. Money from career. And the 11th house deals with big money, so powerful people in your life relative to this. So let's get down to business and let's start talking about what certain planets could be in this 11th house. Since the 11th house is about great gains, powerful people and friends, it is also about our hopes, our dreams, and our wishes in life, and whether we can manifest this or not. So these are powerful things relative to the 11th house. It is a Kama house, which represents our desires. And what our desire is truly to relate to others, and that is a core essence of the 11th house. And it is relative to the 11th sign, which is Aquarius, which represents humanity, so it deals with humanitarian causes. These are all 11th house values. So let's talk about if you have the sun in the 11th house. This would be powerful friends. This would be male friends that you possess. This can be some very influential people that can help you out. They may need to be the center of attention, or it could mean that your oldest sibling has to be the center of attention, because the sun is always so bright, we can barely look at it, the center. And sometimes it can be relative to you being the eldest one if the sun is potentially very strong. The sun in the 11th house could mean that you really relate closely to your dad. It's like a friend, a connection, and that your father is well off and has done well. You're connected. So if you have the moon in the 11th house, this means that you have a lot of acquaintances, not a lot of really close friends, because the moon fluctuates and changes so often, it moves the fastest, that you don't have friends that are really long, deep, lasting friends. Now you have many friends, many friends, and friends are an important aspect to your life. And yes, you can keep friends for a long time, but you have so many acquaintances and associations. That's what the moon in the 11th house can represent. Can also represent that possibly your oldest sibling is a female, and that no matter if you're male or female, your friends are female. You really associate with women well with the moon in the 11th house. If you have Mercury in the 11th house, the most important groups and people that you hang with are going to be people that think like you, because you've got to converse with them. You've got to have this this quality of being connected to friends and people through like-mindedness, through your thoughts, through your studies. And you probably have a lot of study groups or groups that are into the same things you're into, that you love to meet with and connect with and communicate with most of all. If you have Venus in the 11th house, then this means that you are so associated to females and female groups and helping them, likewise like the moon in the 11th house. And you have a lot of good girlfriends if you have Venus in the 11th house. Another thing is you might like to hang out with artists, the real creative types in this world, the ones that inspire you to be creative. That's what Venus is all about, creativity. And being around a beautiful crowd of people. And Venus is the most social of all planets. So you're going to be involved in many social groups with Venus in the 11th house. If you have Mars in the 11th house, some of your friends can be cutthroat. They may not be the nicest people in the world. And they can have jealousy issues with you with Mars there. And there can be arguments, there can be fighting, there can be scandals sometimes relative to the people that you bring in your life, so-called friends. Might really be enemies, so watch that. If you have Jupiter in the 11th house, yes, you'll have tons of friends, tons of social circles, people surround you, people love you, you're popular. Very popular in school and popular throughout your life in different social circles. And Jupiter in the 11th house means you could hang around teachers. You could be a teacher, but you teach in groups and organizations with people. Jupiter in the 11th house means you manifest your dreams, your hopes, your wishes. And this can deal with great gains, lots of money that comes in, big lump sums all at once. If you have Saturn in the 11th house, you don't let a lot of people in your life. You don't have a lot of friends, but the ones you have, you keep forever from childhood, because these are the people you feel like you can truly trust and you can truly hang with all the time. So Saturn in the 11th house makes you resistant to let people in, because you got to make sure that they are worth your time and effort in a friendship. So you like to keep it down to a minimum of really close, old, dependable friends. And it may mean that you're not that close to your oldest sibling. If you have Uranus in the 11th house, you love the unusual, the odd, the eclectic, the futuristic thinking type individuals as your friends. The type of people that you hang with have to be unconventional, original, and unique. And you may find that suddenly, unexpectedly, sums of money can plop in your lap, sort of like a windfall of some sort. If you have Neptune in the 11th house, you may hang with artists, you may hang with outcasts of society, really interesting, creative types, maybe even people that are into the film business or like to watch movies, things like that. But be careful that your friends don't drink too much. Be careful that your friends don't overconsume, because you might find yourself being the one that has to take the keys away from them at a party if they're trying to drive home. And Neptune in the 11th house can mean that there's a misunderstanding or that you don't really get your oldest sibling. If you have Pluto in the 12th house, this can be controlling friends, powerful, controlling people that come into your life, but they want you to do what they want you to do. And you pull away because it's too much. But Pluto in the 11th house can bring massive, great gains into your life. But at the same time, be aware that this could represent some friends that could betray you at times. Be careful what you reveal to them. If you have Rahu in the 11th house, this means great gains, power, influential people are in your life that will lead you down the road to finding massive money and opportunities. Because this rules powerful, influential people in your life, Rahu in the 11th house. And in terms of siblings, most of the time, people that have Rahu in the 11th house, they are the oldest in their family. Now, in the few instances that they're not the eldest one, it can mean that your oldest sibling is very powerful, very strong, and probably not so close to you, but they're powerful. If you have Ketu in the 11th house, this means you like to bring into your circle of friends the down and out, the down and out and people that are rejected by society. These are the people that you find interesting because they're so different, unusual, unconventional, strange people you think are interesting, and you hang out with them. And it might be that you feel the need to help them because, you know, they're victims, they've got problems, they've got maybe even addictions, but you're there to help them, uplift them. Just make sure they don't drain you of all your energy, because they'll try. So with that, I think I've covered all the signs going through the 11th house. Remember, this is the house of our desires, our hopes, our dreams, our aspirations, and you will achieve this accordingly to the planetary energy, whether this is your planets in this house. But we'll talk later about the planets when they transit through these houses. So if you would like more information about my work, you can always go to my website, galacticcenter.org. But if you're wanting to learn more about Vedic astrology, I have a wonderful certification course that you can apply to. Go to my website, which is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.